good evening, and welcome to another MJ show. We are about to get started, and we have an amazing guest with us tonight. So, before we get into it, let's go ahead and do the preliminaries. Let's go ahead and share to our friends. Let us tell everybody that we are getting started, and of course, I'm going to go ahead and play my favorite tune for the day. Let's see what we have today. Let's go ahead and play something for you, and let us get going. Let us get going, guys. All right, guys, let's come on in, get settled down. OG Patrice, long time no see. How are you? Let me know if you can hear the music okay, OG Patrice. Let me know if you can hear and see everything clearly. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Let's go ahead and share. Welcome, OG Patrice. Welcome, you guys on Facebook. Welcome on YouTube. Rofio, welcome. Okay, welcome, 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 everybody. MJ here. It's another Thursday, which means it's MJ Live show, and we're going to get into it today with a special guest in just a couple of minutes. But first of all, as I normally do, I'd like to welcome you all and also thank all of my sponsors that have sponsored the show in the past. Welcome to and thank you to Lascious Journey. Thank you for sponsoring the show, early sponsor. Thank you to Shayla, again, the mysterious Shayla. Thank you for sponsoring the show. I saw the message last week. Thank you to Gail Luckett. Awesome, also awesome Gail at night. The show every Saturday night. Thank you so much to Carl Sinclair from Syntech Calling. Awesome, awesome sponsor. And thank you to the Intentional Millionaire. Always great to have him on the show. Big thank you to MSE Network. Thank you for sponsoring the show. Also, to the award-winning international recording artist, Novelty. Thank you so much. And also Sophia Sharif, as well as all of those people that support. Oh, one more. Bernard S., the another big sponsor. Now, I might be having some slow network issues today, so I'm just praying that everything goes well. And if not, then just bear with us today. All right. So if you're watching on the replay, I appreciate you for watching. And those who are watching live, feel free to interact in the chats. I know that it might be, we just started the new season. Actually, this is the second show of the new season. So everybody has to get used to seeing me again on a Thursday night. All right. So let's get back into it. And let's get rid of that. I hope everybody's doing well tonight. I hope you're doing fine. As for me, I'm doing awesome. And I know I'm going to introduce you to our guest in a little bit. I don't know if she's looking like she's doing awesome as well. All right, one more thing. Let's go and do one more thing. Get the banner on the screen. There we go. All right, I think we're ready to go. All right, without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to our special guest for today. Hello, Dr. Elizabeth M. Garcia. How are you tonight?
I am doing great. Thank you for having me on board.
Good. And how has your day been so far?
Oh, my day is great. It's, I just got back from a week, a trip to Puerto Rico. I was visiting family, just reconnecting again. After the pandemic, I hadn't been there in so long, and taking my young son on a little cultural trip. So that was exciting.
Okay. Very good. And you were also telling me that you had some particular experience while you was away. What happened?
So when you go to the Caribbeans, everything is so organic, and a lot of the people in the Caribbeans, to them, you want to experience that that culture part of how we live. And so it's good to do the tourist side, and we did that. But of course, since I have my parents that live inside of Puerto Rico in Bayamon, in the city called Bayamon, we decided also to do outskirts and do some touring around, and we found a water slide, and there were other people there, I never do those adventurous. You
felt like being adventurous.
Well, I was like, oh, let me, because I had gone there. I wasn't born or raised in Puerto Rico. I was born and raised in New York, but I would frequent and visit, Puerto Rico at times with family members that lived there. So I just wanted him to have those experiences that I did, but no. So we went up on this rock, and they had like water coming down the waterfall. So you climb up, and it's a slide, not like man-made slide with plastic, and it's made to secure you. No, this is nature. This is, hey, when you slide down, you slide down. If you get hurt, you get hurt. It's on you. Wow. So I slid down, and unfortunately, I don't know if you could see it, but I did hit my chin.
Oh.
So badly, and
oh dear.
I can't, and it was such a whoa, that I was like, whoa.
Wow.
I'm grateful that.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least you weren't badly hurt. It could have been much worse, I guess, right?
Right, right.
So
And I'm glad that we were coming home the next day because this happened not yesterday, on Tuesday.
oh well, you know
Glad I
what?
was like, because I was ready to come home. I was like,
Yeah.
let's say trip over.
Over now. Let's get back. Let's get back to the normal way of life. But I'm glad to see you're still looking beautiful anyway. So,
Yeah.
and I'm glad. How old is your son, by the way?
My youngest is 14. He's
Oh,
14.
oh,
Mhm.
okay. I had a feeling that he was younger than that. But I bet he had a great time, right?
Oh yeah, but then when he saw that happened to me, he was still up there, and he didn't come down.
Did he
He
want to come?
eventually did, but I felt so bad for him because he was like, "Whoa, there's some danger to this."
Okay. All right. So we're going to be talking about self-care today. But before we do, let me just give a little bit of an introduction. As a matter of fact, I wanted to just read a little bit of your bio uh, as we go through tonight. So, everybody, um, the dynamic force, Dr. Elizabeth M. Garcia, also known as Liz Garcia, is a devout mother, business consultant, real estate agent, beauty specialist, author, Mrs. Corporate America 2018, Miss Queen of Self Care 2020, and former educator. With such diverse talent, Miss Garcia is truly a new Renaissance woman. We'll just stop it right there. You've got quite a lot of, uh, let's say, careers behind you. What made you go into so many different? And could you sort of just talk about your background in your words?
I don't know if I chose it or it chose me or
Uh,
how life just evolves and goes about
uh-huh.
it. I think that in the era that I grew up in, it was hush hush, and we didn't have panel discussions, and we didn't have openness to discuss things. And that era that we grew up in, it was more, um, you didn't say anything, whatever you went through or whatever you just showed. Once you opened that door outside to the world,
Uh-huh.
you just portrayed what it was, and you listened to your parents, and you didn't really like take time to think like, what do I want to do, what career do I want to do, what's my passion. Those questions you didn't ask at that age, and you didn't hear other people talk about those things. You kind of was told what to do. So when I say that, um, how I started off was, I went to high school, and I really wanted to be a lawyer, and I got a scholarship to be a lawyer, to go to school to do law. I think you froze. Did I freeze or you? I think you froze. Can you hear me? Okay. So I was dating my daughter's father through high school, and we got married, and we had a business at the time, and I loved it. I loved doing the business side and everything, and not knowing what I know now, that um, I thought getting into the marriage, everything was going to be great because that's how I saw my parents. They've been together for so many years, and I didn't see drama or traumatic experiences with between my parents. So I thought everybody grew up that way, but unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So that ended up in a divorce, and after going through the divorce, I made a list of things that I wanted to do because I was 18 when I got married, and I was pretty young, and I decided I was going to go to school. And that's what I did. And along the way, I had a second child, and he's 24 now. And I just decided that I was going to push forth. And I went to school with my daughter, who was 5 at the time, and I was pregnant with my second son, but I still continued on. And then I got into another relationship that was not good. It was very domestic violence. It was very violent, and
Oh.
I was able to get out. And I think in the process of being in that relationship and having bruises on my face and having black eyes and still wanting to go to
Mm.
school, I learned like to create different things for my face to hurry up and heal. But not knowing that later on, all of these tools, I would utilize it later on for the future. So it's that when I say that I kind of fell into it all, that I found my passion through the process of my life. That's where it all happened. And then my daughter had eczema growing up, so she couldn't wear certain clothes, certain creams, and eczema wasn't really something profoundly found in the 90s. people didn't really talk about that. So I used a lot of aloe, and I went back and had a discussion with my father, who's, I'm telling you, he's 91 and still drives, uh,
Wow.
vision, still can see, no glasses. So he's very into the organic era. So when I would was it then I had graduated, became a teacher. I loved being a teacher. What I didn't like was the politics side of it all.
Right.
And I put all my eggs in one basket. I became my bachelor's was with ESOL and Thurs, and I did my master's with children with learning disabilities. So I taught at that level, at that proximity, and I thought I wanted to be an administrator because that's the field that I was in. And when I did my other master's for educational leadership and I did the intern, I decided that's not what I wanted to do. And I went
Okay.
back to school. At this time, I had 3 children, and the other 2 were in. One was in high school, 2 were in high school, and then the youngest one. And I decided to do esthetician, and I went back to school, and I learned it. And then I did. I didn't want to do the nails, but there was no openings for facials, and I started doing. But all along, had been doing these masks that I created. I was on a budget. I was a teacher with children and a mom on a budget, and I would sell them, and I would have other teachers that would come with their kids to my house, or we would trade off, and I would
Oh.
do facials, and I would, just a bunch of things. And I thought that this was just going to be my side, but it was
Oh.
something that I loved to do.
Okay.
And I was working on the weekends at a spa and teaching during Monday through Friday.
Right.
One day I said, I'm going to take a leap of faith and I'm leaving. And I left. And that was 2012. Really, I took a leap. For 2013, I made the decision that I was not going back and I was going to be my own CEO.
Wow. That's an amazing. Yeah, that's an amazing story. And I was knocked out for a second, but I caught most of that.
I know. And I was
My network.
like, should I keep going?
You were amazing. Just keeping going. You're a professional at this. I can see.
Um,
So, but if we continue to have problems in the next 5 or 10 minutes, then we may have to stop and we may have to reschedule because
no
um
problem.
we'll see how things go. But welcome, Gail, at night for joining us tonight. We if you could just let a few people know, Gail, because we're having a few little technical issues tonight, but we want to keep on going if we can. Gail is a moderator that just appears out of nowhere and she helps out sometimes. So I think we're in absolutely great hands. This is Gail at night. So you've had quite let's say a colorful life. Some things not so good, some things not so bad. Obviously, a very, very strong woman, a very strong person, and determined, successful in a lot of things. I mean, just going by that short introduction, you've covered so many different areas of your life, and we're going to just sort of dig a little bit deeper into them, and then we're going to come to sort of 5 self-help things that we all should be aware of. And even maybe you might even decide to give away a free ebook. Who knows?
Do it. I'm all about educating and all about women empowering, and because I have been through some journeys that I
Yeah.
only God got me out of them, and, or He sends someone in a message
Yes.
or in my path, and that was able to get me out of that dark place so that I can
Yeah.
continue where I'm at now. So it's only right to give back.
To give back and to encourage others. Okay, that's great. Welcome to Gary Dixon. He says, "Good night, ladies." Let's put these up on the screen. Good night, ladies, and definitely follow us on Instagram. Definitely follow me on Instagram and like and click the like button, please, guys. We're going to be we're a small number today, but definitely you guys who are here, get involved, get into the comments as well. All right. So, what I wanted to know, you say you are a Dr. Elizabeth M. Garcia. What is the doctorate in?
So it was last year. It's an honorary doctorate degree that I was
Oh,
honored with. So like I said, every journey that I've gone through is just So I decided when I did the Miss Corporate America pageant, I didn't do it for vain. I just did it because I was in the beauty world and I really wanted to get into the
Yes.
pageant world. And a lot of times for you to get in, you kind of like have to have a background in it or have done it, and people kind of trust you more. So I did it. I decided to do it. My oldest two, one was in college, the other one had finished, and she was doing her stuff. And I was like, empty nest syndrome. So now it's my turn. I just have one child home. So I
Yeah.
decided to do that journey, and it was a year. It was my first pageant, and I learned so much. It was really me giving back to me. And it really has helped me for the future, for what I'm doing now. But my platform that I took on was domestic violence. So
Okay.
when I decided to take that platform, I traveled to France, I traveled to Paris, and I traveled to a lot of places, and that's why my product line has the Eiffel Tower in it. So
Oh,
what I was doing was working with women who were ready to leave places where they were in hiding from the abusers, and
yes.
I would prepare them for the workforce. Or and there was other people there also preparing them. So I was doing a lot of that kind of service in the back end, and I really I understood where these women were. I I I I sympathized with them, and there was no judgment in my bloodline for them. It was just I understood, and I had been in that position where they were.
Mm. So that was pretty interesting that you would decide you've got a little bit more time on your hands. You're going to go to be a into the pageant world. It was this your I think we mentioned two
This was
pageants
my
there.
this was my first
So this was your
real
first,
pageant like this. Yeah.
and of course you are a beautiful lady that we can all see that clearly. But
Thank you.
was it something that encouraged you to go into the pageant world, or it was just something that you've always wanted to do?
No, I never wanted. Listen, I was growing up. I was a tomboy. I was rough.
Really?
I was
And,
very
and,
rough and
and
very outspoken.
even before you even answer that, you know, most people, I would say, in my experience, I don't know for sure, but most people consider pageants when they're really young. Now, I'm not saying that you're old, but
No,
you're not a
no,
teenager.
but it's also there's a chapter in my book that I talk about emptiness, and so I was, but I didn't know I was in that emptiness, and I didn't even put that in my thought process about emptiness because I thought, gosh, where did they go? That was, and I still felt young inside, but I
Yeah.
missed them because all along I had this routine. I had this routine, even though I would be like, oh God, here we go again. But it was still my routine, and I was
Yes.
accustomed to it, and it felt like like sort of like a death or something happened because
Oh,
I had this extra free space of time, and I
right.
was used to extra free time.
Time.
I didn't know, it was just so weird. Like, so it was a client of mine. I was actually doing her pedicure, and
Oh.
she was like, oh, I know this lady, you should do this, you should do that. And I was like, you know stuff. I mean, I'm not judging nobody for their choices of what,
Right.
but I didn't want to, like, I was like, no. And so she signed me up. She's like, well, I'm going to sign you up and pay for the registration, you're in. And I was like, and so then I won the first round, which was Miami, Florida, and then I went to Orlando and competed.
Very good, very good. Now, of course, you did mention what your cause was, because every time there is a pageant or so forth, and the winner usually chooses a cause that they're going to really get behind, support, be the face of that cause.
Right. And to
Um,
me, mine was domestic violence because
domestic.
I understood it, but I go back now where when we were growing up and whatever went on in the household, you didn't show it. So, when people say, oh, you're beautiful, so what I would do was no matter what was going on, I didn't show it. I would just try to hurry up and read, because we didn't have internet. It wasn't internet. There was no Google like in the night like that. Like we
Yeah.
have. So I would call my dad, and I would try to put some remedies together to heal wounds that I had because I had to go to school. I remember going one time. It was a large classroom, and it was in Miami-Dade Community College where we're at now. Well, it was a community college. Now it's college. And I remember I had to wear shades, but I remember putting. I didn't have. I have 20/20 vision now because I did the LASIK. But I remember putting in the glasses the shades.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember going to class with shades, and the professor asked me to remove it, and I didn't want to remove it because I had like a really huge bruise in my eye, and I had to leave because he told me to walk out. And at the end of class, I waited and I went to go speak to him, and I didn't want to like lose. A school was an escape for me. I would class from 8 in the morning. It was an escape for me. Then I knew that if I returned home at a certain time, he'd be gone for work because he watched our son.
Okay.
So I knew that I would have, this large amount of time where I wasn't experiencing this abuse. Wow. And then when he would come, we just pretended we were sleeping. So it just felt perfect. So I was in school every day. And I would start class from 8, but then I would have to switch. So to make a long story short, I remember having to go to my professor for that, but I wasn't ready to leave my abuser. So these are things that I understand because I and so
it's very interesting because I think, and I've had people on the show before who have experienced domestic violence, and to this day I still don't understand it, but obviously because you've been through it, you understand it, and you got behind that cause. What was it like? Was it just 1 year that you worked in the area of domestic violence, or is it still continuing?
No, I did it prior to that being my platform. I used to go to shelters where women abuse and do their makeup and teach them how to do their makeup. I just decided to use that as my platform, and then it was amazing that it was through a conversation with somebody, and they told me, hey, you could go outskirt now with your crown. So it was like, the crown is funny, and I used to be embarrassed wearing it, but it led me into places normally I wouldn't be able to get in.
Right.
And I even went back to the Bronx, New York, and talked to I was invited there, and they had like this whole mayor, commissioners, it was like a ball. So the crown did help because it did let me go into different areas to speak on behalf of that. So I was very honored that full circle came around, and I was able to make a change with that.
Absolutely amazing. Let's just give a few more welcomes. Welcome to OG Patrice again, if you're still listening. Welcome to Gail at Night, of course, the moderator of all moderators. Gary Dixon, if you're still here, welcome, Gary, in the UK. Welcome to Peter Investor M. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We're small in numbers tonight, so tell a friend. Welcome to Fantasy Folly. So you pop in, come on in, come back in, and if you're still there. And anybody else that's watching on Facebook, welcome to you guys. Let me go ahead and check over on Facebook. Thank you so much for tuning in on Facebook as well. And do like and share the post. Do like and share and come on in and get settled down. We're talking with Dr. Elizabeth M. Garcia, who is a very multifaceted lady who has got a lot of things, or she's very experienced in a lot of different areas. But today we're talking about self-care. We spoke about how she's able to incorporate the self-care element into the domestic violence situations. And could you just elaborate a little bit more on how self-care as well as domestic violence go hand in hand, and then how it sort of is broader than just domestic violence as well?
Yeah, well, I would say that I didn't think of this whole, it was like an epiphany after like 2019, and we'll share that story because I was like, whoa, it is very important because you don't know what's coming 200 yards ahead. You don't know what health, you don't know someone in your family is going to get ill, and you may have to be there 24 hours with them. And self-care for someone with domestic violence is that they could carry on PTSD. So it's mental, it could be a mental illness that can occur. It's something that in their mind if somebody constantly told them that they weren't this, they weren't that, and then they go out into the work field, and then the world is not going to be nice to you. So here you are already dealing with that, dealing with lack of not having because you're starting over again. And then
Yeah.
you have children that are in need, and as they grow older, they're going to need more in that capacity that they're in. Or schools sometimes don't understand when they're asking for funds for this or funds for that. We don't know where these parents are. So when I say that I understand, I'm kind of like really blessed, because even though that happened to me when I was a school teacher, I understood my parents. And if I could raise money to create whatever my classroom needed, I did, because I had that compassion, and I didn't know what was going on in the household. So I was very delicate in requesting anything.
Right.
So domestic violence is serious because it can cause, like I said, mental illness.
Uh-huh.
It can cause you depression, and
Right.
depression is a wicked disease.
That's so sad. That's so sad. But we have you to help in that area too. You've been there. Unfortunately, you've been there. So at least you can identify with people that are going through it. So let's go in. Let's jump into the 5 ways of how just everybody in general should pay attention to self-care. And then at the end, we'll just wrap it up and talk a little bit more about yourself and what you have coming up in the future, what you would like support with, or what you have to give, and stuff like that. So over to you. And before we do, welcome Patrick for joining over there in the UK, my cousin. Hey Patrick, thank you for joining. All right, over to you, Dr. Elizabeth M. Garcia.
Sometimes we don't really understand what self-care is, and it's not only the outer. We have to take care of our inner, because it's our body is a very serious tool, vehicle. It's just like when you have a car, you have to tune it up every certain amount of miles, every 3,000 miles. You have to give it the right gas, the right batteries, the right tires to fit for each. So we're not one size fit all. Everybody's different.
Right.
When I say that you have to be in tune within yourself. So quiet the noise sometimes, like sometimes alone time is not bad time. Alone time is sometimes time for you to have a conversation with yourself, to check in with yourself. Ask yourself some questions. Am I okay? How are you today? Is the inner child in you healed, or it's not healed? If you had an argument with somebody, why was that argument started? Self-evaluate it. Nobody's telling you to keep the wheel turning, but evaluate it. Where did that emotion come from? Could you have reacted a certain way? So checking in with yourself is the first line of foundation, because if you're not okay, then your household is not going to be okay, because everybody's going to irritate you. So that's number one that I would say.
Checking in with yourself. Now, I wonder, people really don't do that as a rule, right? Checking in with yourself. Maybe just put that up on the screen. People don't really do that as a rule, but it's actually so important, because just sort of like self-evaluating, looking in the mirror, just saying, am I okay? Am I okay? Is there more that I can do to feel better about myself? That's a pretty.
And it's okay not to be okay.
Right. Exactly.
And find somebody that can hold you accountable, that you can tell them, hey, I'm not okay today.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just even in checking in with yourself, that's not extreme. That's just sort of really just sort of asking yourself, am I okay? Or why am I feeling like this?
We do it to other people. We ask other people, how are you today? We didn't ask ourselves that, and we are the most important person in
That's
it all.
really good. That's really good. Okay, cool. Let us go on to number 2.
Okay, so then if we're still talking about inner, make sure when you check in with yourself and you've answered several questions, and maybe you had a migraine 3 times that week, then go get a physical, go get checked. Check yourself out. So check the engine. check it. Go do a physical. Make a list of things that you want for yourself. We do it for other people. We ask other people, hey, for your birthday, what do you want to do? Hey, for Christmas. We're always asking other people, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Uh-huh.
And sometimes we can get so caught up in asking others always how they're feeling and what they need that we forget about ourselves. And then when someone asks us, we're like, oh, man, I don't even know how to answer that. I don't even know who I am. I don't even know
Yes.
if I like the color blue or purple. I don't
Oh
even
my
know.
word.
Because we're so accustomed of taking care of others, that other needs. So we're catering to other needs. And sometimes we do it because we like to pleasure other people. We like to help other people because I am a giver. And givers, we have to be careful. So
Very true.
so I would say always check your health, because I tell you, okay, we had COVID. So no one was going to the doctor. So
That's
prepare
very true.
yourself for whatever is coming through. So, okay, so we saw COVID happen. What was one of the signs of COVID? It was breathing. So if you snore, or if you have sinuses or
Uh-huh.
allergies,
Uh-huh.
go take care of those right now. You don't know
Yes.
what's coming 2022. I'm 23 or another year. We don't know. So I know my son snored a lot. So I had him. I went to the ENT, the ear and throat doctor, and they finally did the surgery for it, because if you're snoring, you're not getting enough oxygen in your brain, and you're going to be tired throughout the day.
Oh,
So
good point.
snoring is a very serious thing to do. I just had thyroid surgery
Oh, you had the surgery?
on March 1st. I knew 2019 that I had it, but I didn't feel the side effects. They just found it through when you do a physical. But I, at that time, could not take care of that. And then here comes COVID. So I was like, I don't think so. But thyroid disease is very serious. And I started feeling the effects of it.
I have it.
So I had it removed March. So it's a little scarring there, but I'm so glad.
Wow.
It
So I'm
really,
I'm actually considering the surgery right now because I've had it for so long. It doesn't. It's not a big issue, but just because it's just an ongoing thing, it never goes away. So I'm just thinking, you know what? I might just go boop, and get it
yeah,
done.
I prayed about it, and you self, like
Self-care.
you,
I might have to ask you who your surgeon was
he's
afterwards.
very good in Aventura, very good, excellent.
Oh, wow. Excellent, excellent. Let's just check in with the audience again. So Gary says accountability partner is cool. And I know that he definitely has several. Let's see. Just like we check our car, we need to check ourselves. Is so right, Gary. We work so hard all the time, and often you may come down with something suddenly. A friend of ours, well, actually Gary's fiance, she was working herself so hard that she actually, got sick and had to go to the emergency room and get a EKG and get all of herself checked, and it's because just going all the time. You have to balance. And I talked to her and I says, doctor, she's also a doctor. I says, doc,
Yeah,
you got to take some time out. You've got to take your massages. You've got to chill out. You've got to relax. You got to have balance, right? And I bet
right.
you it's one of yours. Anyway, let me just see what Patrick's saying. Fear of self-check is fear of our own mortality. That's very true. That's very true. Sometimes you're too scared to go to the doctors because the doctors is going to say, this is wrong with you and that is wrong with you, and the other. But yes, check the engine. If the engine's not working right, how is the car going to run correctly?
And, and,
Excellent.
and we don't want to be selfish, because other people depend on us, and there's other people that love us, and we have to make sure that we're here for them. So we'll do our part. But I would self-evaluate 2020. That's what I did. I looked at 2020. I says, what was the problem? Breathing? Oh, I need to go.
Mm, Go take care of that. Me too. I just actually had a doctor's appointment today. I've got my thyroid scan in a 2 weeks time. Anyway, it's not about me. The
No,
Patrick says both
it's
both
good because
physical and mental. Patrick says both physical and
yeah.
mental. All
So
right.
one of the things that I wish I would have done with my children at a young age was introduce them to a
A
therapist.
therapist.
I wish that my son and I, the young one, we gone to therapy, and the middle one, but my daughter, my oldest, she's 29, or she'll be 29 in October, and she opposes it. And we did have an issue with her in 2019. She was pregnant with triplets.
Wow.
Yeah, she was pregnant with triplets, and unfortunately, she had to deliver early. So she delivered April 2nd through C-section. All three were delivered.
Oh,
They were very small. So
yes, of course.
this is Mason. He is 3 years old. He just turned 3. And he
Oh,
was only a pound. And
wow.
his brother was 12 pounds, and his sister was a pound and a half. But unfortunately, they did not make it. Like
Oh,
one lived 6 days and the other one 7 days. So my daughter did not. She is finally now coming out of her mental breakdown.
wow.
So that's where the book came about. Then while in the
Okay.
hospital, see, because we still had to return back for him because he was still there. He denied it. So she had to return back to this hospital where she didn't want to come back.
Yes, of course.
So I had to stop everything that I was doing, and I would take the day shift, and she would do the night shift. And that when I was sitting there in that NICU, it was really scary, but I was so grateful that I had my health, that I was
Yes.
always taking time to take care of myself, for what I needed. And that's why I couldn't do the thyroid surgery, because I was there in the hospital with him. But I didn't know that. I thought that everybody, you think everybody's strong like you are. So 22, and then here comes 2020 with COVID, but we had already our storm. And my daughter mental declined, it finally hit her. Everything just hit her.
Yeah.
And then I tried to get her therapy, but she was like, no.
Yeah.
And I just really wished I had introduced that into my household.
Right. To make it sort of normal, just a normal thing. There's still a stigma behind it. But what I've seen is that there seems to be a lot more young people are getting it earlier these days. A lot of people that I know, they've said, you know what, I need to get a therapist for my daughter, for my son, and they started to be more accepted of it now, I think. Would you agree?
Yes, and I think it's a great thing, and so that would be one of the things that I would say, that you should have a professional to come and assist you with whatever, even a breakup. A breakup is like a death. This
True.
is mourning what you thought would happen.
Yeah.
Your mind is very powerful, just like to us, although those children passed away, to us, they were with us. We were preparing in our
course.
minds. They had their names.
Yes.
We were getting the rooms ready.
Right.
So your mind can really is a very powerful tool, and will move on 5 years from now, and you've already planned this whole life out. So I would put that on one of the list there.
Therapy. So let's add that as
know when to seek help.
Okay. Know when to seek professional help. All right. So we'll have that as number 3. Know when to seek professional help. If I spelled that right. Let's see. Let's have a look. Show professional. Yeah. Okay, all right, we've talked about this one. Let us go on to number 4 then.
Okay, so number 4, then now we would come out to the outs. So taking time for you, knowing when to say no. Because sometimes we'll say yes to everything, and we're like, oh my God, Thursdays is my day off, and now I am helping paint somebody's house the whole day. And I'm exhausted, and the next day I got to go get up early to go to work. So knowing when to say no.
Right. Okay. Absolutely. Yeah. That's a key one. Because people are generally, they want to help everybody else, but some people feel like it's bad to put yourself first, right?
Yeah.
And I know that you spoke about that in your ebook, is to put your own when you go on the airplane, you say it best, because when you're in the airplane, go ahead.
When you get on the plane, they always tell you to put your mask first and then assist any child that you're with, you put their mask, because while you're putting their mask on, you're passed out, and that child is,
Right. And you're
so
responsible for the child. You're responsible for the people that you're with. You're the strong. You're the strong one, or you're the, let's say, the responsible one, and you have to take care of yourself first, or else you can't take care of anybody else. That's essentially what it means.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Okay. Take it.
But that
Knowing
was a
when to.
hard one. That one was a hard one for me, saying
I
no.
bet it. I bet it was because you're a mama, and you care about so many different
And
issues and.
listen, your kids will trick you, because my oldest, when I started drawing the boundary line, I'm like, no, she would say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it."
you
And I'm
you actually said no.
like, she's like,
It's-
"I can't believe you're not going to do that for me." I'm like, "I'm sure I'm not."
that must have been a completely new concept for her. All right, so let's go on to the next one. What would be the final one for you
So
tonight?
I would say health and physical self care. I would join those together. And I would say health because, a lot of times, you have to choose what you want to do. So, and you have to make that decision for yourself. So if you know that certain foods you can eat, I would always recommend people to go have an allergy test done, food allergy. Those
Okay.
are great, because a lot of times you may have like bumps that occur, and you're like, what is going on? Like if I eat peanuts, I don't have an immediate reaction because it's
Right.
probably level 2, but I do get all this rash.
Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of times we can eat foods, or if, when I did my food allergy, it came out bananas. I can still eat them, but with moderation. But I
Okay.
notice when I do eat them, I feel like my stomach is not
Okay.
good. So a lot of times, food allergy and your health, checking yourself out. We just talked about that, but I know, like, a lot of what I want to say it, and I want to say it in a nice way, is you find out what foods are not good for you.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it takes 21 days to not really crave that food anymore. Sometimes
Mhm.
21 to 30 days. So you don't have to let go of everything right away, but do it gradually.
Mhm.
And then physical self-care. If you can't go to the gym, you can walk
That's
30 minutes
true.
walk a day. It really helps. Go with your children, put the phone, take their phone away, take yours, because you never know emergency, and have a conversation with your child, because we're getting into
Yes.
this techie world, and it's great, but we do need to communicate with our children
That's very, very
and what's
true.
going on. So, I mean, at first they're going to give you a lot of friction, because my young son, it was that I had to involve a professional or nutritionist, and I'm a certified nutritionist, but I had to involve somebody else.
Somebody
And
else.
and now he leaves his phone, and we go for our walks. And the conversations at first were, they were like rough. Like I was like, oh God, I'm tired. I'm more tired trying to push some conversation out of him. But
That's funny.
but I think he realized, like, let me talk to this lady, because if not, we're just gonna keep it.
I love that. Let me talk to this lady. That's it. That's his mom. Oh, that's so cool. But yeah, I bet you things are a little bit easier now because because you haven't maybe because you hadn't done it before. It was a little bit strained. But now
Yeah.
that you've sort of getting into a routine now, it's more normal.
Oh, no.
That's
But at
that's
first,
good.
yeah, I wanted to give up. I want to be like, I don't
Forget
know.
him.
I'm like exhausted trying to, yeah. So that was
But
funny.
what's the relationship? What's your relationship now with him?
Um, the greatest thing is when it's your third one, you kind of like understand what you did not wrong, but you understand 1 and 2, and then you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna incorporate this ingredients into this, and so it's good. We have a good communication. We traveled this time around. My oldest couldn't make it, but my middle son came and met us with us for a little bit. So we had
Oh,
a
cool.
great week, and it was really rough for me, because I didn't realize that I didn't take a vacation like that in a while. Well, we were off from COVID and all of that happened, and then 2019, I was with my daughter and her situation, so I hadn't. So it was weird to be gone like that. But it was nice. I got to see my
Oh,
dad, and I was there for Mother's Day, and it was my mom's birthday. So it's
okay.
good to reconnect.
Very good. Very good. I'm happy that you actually were able to spend some family time together and with your pops who's a strong guy. So that's really, really awesome. So let's just review the five things that we talked about today. Number one is to make sure that you check in with yourself. You know, find out how am I feeling today. You know, am I feeling what I woke up this morning feeling not so great. Why is that? Check in with yourself and try to explore what those are.
I
And
wanted
number
to add something to
yeah,
that. I'm sorry.
sure.
What I try to do it early in the morning because you
Mm,
did go before everybody wakes up, and I do a gratitude. So it's always good. I asked my dad what was his secret for living 91, and he's very young.
wow,
And he says that one of the things he does is that he always is grateful, and
that's
he did that from
beautiful.
his ancestors, and just he it was 10 brothers and sisters, and he's the
Wow.
only one survived. I mean, the only one living, and he was one of the youngest ones.
Yes. Oh wow.
I
Beautiful,
wanted to add
beautiful.
that. I'm sorry.
No, no, no problem. That's fine. All right. So let's go back. So number two was to check your engine. Just summarize that one again real quick for me.
So check your engine. Self-evaluate. If you go decide to go walking and you feel kind of exhausted and tired, um, find out why am I tired. Well, let me try this again. And if I am, when was the last time I had a physical?
Mm,
Get a physical, and let
mm,
me ask questions. Listen to other people who are giving their testimony. Sometimes they don't even know they're giving their testimony.
mhm,
But if you heard something about thyroid, hey, what's that about? Do
mhm.
your homework about that. And how can I get tested for, because thyroid is a really serious disease. I didn't know about it, but
I
it's
didn't
really
really think it. Yeah. All
it
right.
changes
So
your whole hormones.
yes, that's what they tell me. Yeah. All right. So then number three then. Go ahead and summarize this one.
So seek professional help. Let's say you do want to lose weight, find a trainer,
Hmm.
or partner up. Sometimes it's not feasible funding or wherever you're at in your space,
Hmm.
or find a partner that you can go walking with, or there's a lot of YMCA's,
Hmm.
so you can join one of those, or always finding another partner that you guys can agree upon going twice a week. You can start twice a week. If you feel sad a lot of times, or if there was a tragic death that happened or something that happened, there's or nothing going on, you just want to check in with yourself, you can seek professional help.
Hmm.
And they do it virtually because I have a therapist and I do it virtually.
Welcome, Dwight. I'm about to eat some curry, the
Oh yeah,
world's
inflammatory.
best anti-inflammatory food. Is it? Uh, all right then, and then number four. Go ahead and summarize this one for us.
Knowing when to
To
say no.
say.
Don't put so much on a plate. I mean, when you see a plate, you're not gonna just get a plate and start stuffing it because you're not gonna be able to eat all that. So it's knowing when to say no, and it's okay to say no, and people will respect you for saying
That's
no.
true. That's
And there's
very
a nice
true.
way. There's a nice way to say it. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that today.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
I can't do this right now. And then that's it.
Beautiful. And then the last one we talked about, health and physical
Health
self-care.
and physical self-care. So there's a lot of things to do with your health. You can check for food allergies. I would always recommend that because a lot of times you may be uh, feeling some kind of way, and it might be some food intake that is not agreeing with your body. And if you know that your sugar is high, then start letting go of some things slowly or gradually. Physical self-care. Find you can get some weights or anything, books, and start. You can work out from home. You can go walking. You can do so many things that, but at least you move the body at least 30 minutes a day.
Yeah, and most cities, and especially I live in Lauderhill, most cities have a free gym or a few free community center. So
Yeah.
and even in the parks, especially since we live in Florida, even in the parks they have exercises that you can
Oh
actually
yeah, yeah, they
use
have
as
one where I
well.
live here. Yes, so cool.
Yeah,
And you're
so
getting your vitamin D.
right, sunlight and fresh
And
air and
now because that's good for mental too. If you're in your home, if you're at home,
yes,
open the windows. Let the light
yes.
come in. It's a good feeling.
So key. I've started because I work in front of my computer all the time, and since I've started going out, if I don't go out in like 2 days, I'm like feeling really, 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 I gotta get out. I just gotta go out. I don't care where I go, whether it's just to walk out, just go to a restaurant, just go somewhere. I have to get out
Absolutely.
now. So those are really, really key things. Now I know, and thank you for those. I know that you've written an awesome ebook. Not only a book, an ebook, but you also have a book. First of all, tell us about the book that you have, and then we'll talk about the ebook.
So the book that I have is, I have this one, but this one's mine. I swear I write my notes. So it's called I Shall Arise, and
Uh-huh.
a self-care guide to getting back to you. So I named it I Shall Arise because when we were going through our storm in 2019 with my daughter,
Could
I
you, could you hold it up again?
oh, I'm sorry.
There we go.
It was really hard to get up. I just it was so much going on as a mother to watch your child just grieving over a loss, and you don't know how to. I mean, you don't even know. When your child falls, you hurry up and pick them up and
Mm.
put the band-aid in. But this is something that you're like, wait, I told her about God, and and this is where you really utilize that you have to trust God and stand in faith. So I would hear this every time, and I would tell myself, I shall arise, I shall
Wow.
arise.
That's good.
And so I wrote this book because in 2020, my daughter decided to grab her son, and we didn't know anything. Her father and I, her grandmother, no one knew where she was. And
Oh.
so I periodically, sometimes she would call. And so I
Oh.
wrote a letter for her, and I couldn't get it to her. And so I said, in my midst of me praying for her return back, I'm just going to write a book to help others. you know.
Wow.
And I understood that assignment of being in the hospital. And when you're in the hospital, sometimes you can't plug your phone because, there's so many machines. The waiting area for the moms was not, wasn't comfortable. And you didn't want to
Oh.
be there because you wanted to be there with the baby,
Right. Right. Right.
and there was so much 20 feet, 20 steps forward this child would go, and then 20,
Oh.
so many. It was like the Green Reaper. Like you literally are sitting,
Wow.
and you feel like, oh my God, the doctors are coming. What now? So
Yeah.
I wrote the book, and in hopes, and then COVID came, so I just wanted it to enlighten somebody, or a book that you could roll up and take it with you, and you could it's like little points where you could read, self care. Why does it matter? Because when I was there, a lot of times my phone would die,
Mm.
and you want to keep your mind. Your
Mm.
mind is powerful, and you're just sitting there. You're hearing other moms cry.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
hearing these monitors, and the monitors are going off. And so I just wanted a book to inspire anyone at any level. There's one part about empty nest, because that's
Right.
serious too. Breakups also can lead you to
Mhm.
depression because it was something that you hoped for.
Yeah.
Now you have to navigate moving on by yourself and
Mhm.
find a routine for yourself. So there's just physical self-care, emotional self-care. So the book overall is a small book, and there's a journal in the back for you to write. There's different quotes
Okay.
to inspire
Good.
you, and the proceeds go to a nonprofit that I started. It's called the Max and Mila Faith Foundation. So it's a
Very nice.
foundation that we started to help, and we're in the process to moving it forward now, since we're out of the pandemic and we want
Yes.
to turn into business. So we want to raise funds to help, these mothers in the NICU, because what happens is we don't know the aftermath. If you're in the NICU, then you can't work. You're not working. Um, you know, fights,
Yeah.
breakups begin to happen because
Yes. Yes.
you're
The
not
close
home.
proximity. Yes. 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 Wow, you have a really powerful story. There's so much that we could talk about, but I know that we have to be very, very mindful of time tonight. But Gail, thank you so much, Gail, for putting this up. Get the book I Shall Arise, a self-care guide to getting back to you. It's on Amazon. The link is there. It's in the chat. Thank you so much for our moderator for putting that up there, Gail at Night. She's incredible. And also, you have an ebook that I know that you've written. Let's go ahead and just show that real quick for everybody. Um, mm, mm, mm. Here it is, guys. It's a powerful, powerful, beautiful ebook that I know about. It goes into lots of different little nuggets of where to get help and the different levels, and it's different areas where you can think about your spiritual and the emotions, and there's just so much goodies in here that you guys need to get it. Now, I'm not going to say where you can get it, but go ahead, um,
Um,
uh,
so
Elizabeth.
the book is located on Amazon. You can go on Amazon, and the ebook is going to be. We're getting my website ready. So, but if you follow me on social media, on Instagram, it's Dr. Elizabeth Garcia on IG, Instagram, and on Facebook is Dr. Elizabeth Garcia. And
Awesome.
I will give the link there, and we'll give out some ebooks to whoever's.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
open because I want people to really take self-care as it's defined.
Right. It's a lot bigger than I initially thought, definitely. I want to thank you so much, Dr.
Yeah.
M. Garcia, for being available tonight. We're not going to run over time. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful night, and maybe we can do it again sometime in the future when we have a little bit more time. All
And I
right?
appreciate everyone who came on. Thank you very much. And I'll get back with you so we could see who we could give the ebooks to. I'm
All
open.
right. Thanks again. Have a wonderful night.
You too.
Take care. All right. All right, guys, that was our guest, Elizabeth Garcia. She is just an incredible lady with so many different facets of her life. She's been through a lot, but she's here to encourage, and she's been through some situations with her family, with her own domestic violence, and just helping other people that are going through it with her books, with her foundation, with her website, which is coming out very, very soon. So if you're interested in any of those elements, definitely do get in touch with me. Again, her name is Elizabeth Garcia, and you can find her on Instagram. All right, guys, I want to thank you all for tuning in. We're not going to draw this out tonight. Thank you to OG Patrice, who popped in. Gail at Night, of course, our esteemed moderator, Gary Dixon. Are you still up, Gary Dixon? Are you still up, or you fell asleep now? Want to thank Peter, Investor M, always supports my show. I'm really, really thankful for that, Peter. Fantasy Folly passed through. Are you still there, Miss Fantasy? I will see you on Saturday night. And also Patrick. Are you still awake, Patrick? Or did you nod off as well? Gail at Night, of course. And who else do we have? Dwight Marshallak. Hey, Dwight Marshallak. Thank you so much for joining us with your curry. And of course, thank you again, Gail, for putting the book information up. And Patrick, really like that. Makes so much sense in the UK. Yep, we have to take care of our health. The health is our wealth, and there are so many easy ways that we can put ourselves first and take care of self. Not let people run us over and run our lives for us. We have to take care of us, number one, and then we can take care of other people. I got you, Patrick. Thank you so much, and nice session. Thank you, Gary. All right, guys. So we're gonna play out with my music, as I like to do so. Let us go ahead and play that track for you guys, and we shall say good night. Thank you so much, Gail, once more. Let's go ahead and play this track that you always hear me playing. Never get tired of this. And let us go out with this. Yeah, curry is made with lots of turmeric. Good night, Gail at Night. Thank you so much for moderating tonight. I really appreciate you so much. Thank you. All right, bye guys. See you soon.